Another very important proactive thing you can do as far as taking action on your own part is networking. Okay. Now, most people hate networking, so, and I don't love it either, by the way, but if you're one of those folks, this is a time where we can all groan together. Networking. I hate networking. Okay, good. I'm glad we got that out of our system. If you love networking, great. This lesson's for you. But networking is very important, and it can be very simple, from just letting your friends and family know that you're applying for, that you're looking to make a change in your career, or that you're looking for jobs. Don't be ashamed if you're unemployed. It happens to everybody, so don't worry about that. Just let people know, like, hey, I'm looking for a job. It can really, really pay off. Because you never know. And once again, as you build out that network, as we go through this lesson, you're getting more opportunities. I'll give you one great example with my wife, for example. Many, many years ago, we moved from one location to another, and she was looking for a job. And she let her friend know, one of her friends know, that she was looking for a job. And her friend worked in a small startup. It was a technology startup. It had like 10 people at the company at the time. And my wife was an accounting manager at the time, and they needed an accountant. The CEO had been doing the accounting, but it was just taking too much of his time. He was hating it. He wanted to grow the company, and the company was growing. And so, her friend knew that and said, I've got this great friend who's got an accounting degree and has been, 5 years experience or 8 years experience at the time of accounting. And she had one interview, had an interview with him and was hired. And then she started like the next week. I mean, it was that fast. Job was never posted, but through that network connection, just through a friend, and it was a great job, and she got a great, great job right away. So good for her. So it can be that easy. It doesn't always happen that way, but it doesn't hurt to try. So your friends and family know. Business relationships, of course, too. That's a lot of times when we think about networking in the professional sense, that's what we're talking about too. People outside your company, maybe inside your company that you trust, you can let them know that you're maybe looking for a job, or if you're unemployed, that you're looking for a job. Former managers that you let them know that you might be looking for a job. They might be hiring again, or know somebody through their network connections too. And it goes both ways as far as helping people find jobs. And people who make recommendations, that's a real powerful thing. I'll give you another really quick example too. When I was looking to hire a particular person for a particular job in Washington, D.C., and we couldn't find anybody. We had good candidates, but not the kind of the great candidate we were looking for. It was kind of a unique position, not too unique, but somebody that we want to be real, wanted a particular type of person. And I reached out to a professor I knew, was actually in the middle of the country. It was in Illinois, the middle part of the United States, and I had a relationship with him and said, if you know anybody who's been maybe a former student or somebody you know, and this is what we're looking to hire, and he said, I've got the person for you. She's terrific. Her name is Kelsey. You'll love her. She's terrific. Here's her contact. I mean, he couldn't stop talking about how great she was. And so I got that information, and I set up an interview, and we had Kelsey go through the process. And she already stood out because ahead of these other candidates, because she had that strong recommendation from my network, person that I trusted, and that she was connected to him, and that's how we got connected together. And long story short, Kelsey lived in Illinois. Like, I wouldn't be recruiting out in Illinois for a Washington, D.C. position, but she always wanted to live on the East Coast, and particularly in Washington, D.C. She always wanted to move to the big city and do that. And so it was a great opportunity for her. She loved politics and just that whole, it wasn't a political job, but she just loved being in that environment. And so Washington, D.C. and the Alexandria position area was just perfect for her. So it really worked out for everybody. But that was just me reaching out to my network that then connected to somebody, who was in this professor's network, Professor Dan's network. And so you want to build your network too that way, because it can go both ways that way as far as finding and being found. And you can build these networks a lot of times, like through events. You're meeting people at events. If you go to conferences, you meet people. Hold on those business cards or those connections, or if you're sharing phone contacts, however you're doing it. I mean, it's an event or an industry association that you're part of, or an event they're part of, or you're part of a subcommittee or whatever. You're building those connections. Let them know you're looking for jobs, what type of jobs you're looking for. Build those connections, because it can be real powerful as far as working out. Some keys around this as far as networking is developing the relationships before you need them is very, I think, very, very important. It's kind of that nurturing part is, it's one thing to, to start networking people like, hey, can you give me a job? Do you know somebody? I mean, at least try that. It doesn't hurt. But the more the relationships developed as part of the network is the better. Again, that Professor Dan example where I really trusted anybody he would recommend because I have that relationship with him. And also give more than you get with your network too as you're building that out. When people need help, when people have questions, be there for them, be supportive of them. Just be a good, normal, natural person, a good human being. And then when the time comes where you might need to get something from them, and reach out to them, they're going to really be active on your behalf and be really helpful for you, hopefully. Some not, but some will be very, very helpful for you because they know how much you've given to them in the past and they want to reciprocate that. And the stronger the relationship, the better the referral or recommendation. So if I'm reaching out to my network as a hiring manager and somebody says, I've got a great candidate, and I really respect that person, then that candidate all of a sudden rises in my eyes more than ever. So be good with your network and be a good recommender for them and be a good referral for them, and they will be for you. And then play to your strengths too. Not everybody's great being interpersonal, like talking face to face or on the phone or whatever it might be. That's just not their skill sets, that's not who they are. And that's okay. Some people are great networkers that way, and you might know some of these real extroverted people that are like that, and it's like, great. But you can be great and play to your strengths as far as networking through an online presence. Things like LinkedIn and being part of LinkedIn groups or Facebook groups and being active on there, sharing content, sharing things with each other, and you can develop a strong online network, online network presence. My wife's sister, for example, is very, very introverted, very shy, very nice woman, but very shy. But she has a really massive, strong online network because that allows her to really express herself and get things out. And she's very strong online. But as far as going to like an event and networking with people, oh my God, she'd think that would be the worst thing in the history of the world. So play to whatever your strengths are. And the more you can use of both, great, but really play to your strengths in this area of networking. Because when you're playing to your strengths, it won't be so bad. It might even be great and fun and enjoyable, like my somewhat shy sister-in-law, for example. But networking can really, really pay off, and it's another tool, another thing that you can use to help you in your job search.